checking in those bags, shopping when we land. Big FN bag of ball. Plead the fifth if I get caught, they talk. Came through dripping on them, I been saucing.
Yo, what is going on, y'all? J Trades here, back with another brand new video. I know it's been a while since I've recorded one of these videos, but I am back. So today I will be doing a live recap of the trades that I took on Monday, which were two Forex trades, one of which was on gold and the other one was on oil. I did not take any trades for the S&P 500 or the stock market that day, just because if I don't see any opportunities or any of my good setups, I'm not going to take them, right? So did not see those good setups that I was looking for on the S&P, so I did see a lot of Forex opportunities, however. So let's just review real quick the one trade on gold that I took. So let's get straight into this real quick. So let's just play this out real quick first of all. So we can play this out real quick. Again, we had news. Yeah, we had news that day at 10 a.m. and I took my trade after 10 a.m. because I want to wait until the volatility of the news release dies down a bit. PMI, it's not like an insanely big deal, but it's still a pretty big news thing. So we're just gonna wait that out and let's play price real quick for a little bit so we can get right on ahead. All right, so before we even continue, actually, I always love checking my higher time frames before I get into a trade. And what is my higher time frame telling me? Well, my higher time frame right now is currently telling me that we are very bearish on gold. Again, we are trying to complete this full entire retracement coming back down. We have retraced a good amount here, and this is where the gap kind of starts and ends. So I do believe we will have some type of retracement back up for gold, and then we will drop right back down to finish this full retracement. So that's my long-term outlook on gold on the 4 hour. Let's drop down to the 1 hour now. 1 hour, we are becoming, again, we are still very bearish on the 4 hour, but 1 hour we are becoming a little bit bullish, just a tiny bit. Again, what happens on a 1 hour is forecasting what could potentially happen to the 4 hour, but 4 hours still holds strength that we are bearish. So nonetheless, the main thing I looked at on this trade was this zone right here. First of all, we have this massive area here that is already acting as supply. This big zone right here tells me exactly where supply is, where the sellers are. All the sellers are in this area right here. Again, used to be demand. Once we broke out, this became supply. So again, these big and small zone strategies are things I'm going to be going over in depth on how to use them properly and actually execute on them live in my course that I'm releasing very soon. I also have a group chat where I give out all these signals to every single play that I take. So if you guys are interested in joining Essential Traders University, definitely go to the link down below. But on this trade here, what I identified is, first of all, we have this gap right here. Actually, if I draw this out, actually, no, this is not a gap. Never mind. That's not the gap I was looking at. I was looking at some other gap, but we have the zone. Most importantly, you have this zone right here that I marked out from this massive big candle, including these wicks over here. So this was a zone I basically mapped out on the 1 hour. Let's check the 30 minutes. So this is a very key area. As you guys can see, massive supply zone right here. Tons of sellers in this mini supply area right here, which is telling me this is a very strong zone. And also this zone only got hit twice. Once, technically you could say one big push, two big pushes. All right, so this is a third touch right here, meaning the second touch confirms this is a very strong supply zone. Now, I believe it will act as supply one more time before at some point we will break out of this trend and then come back up. But for now, this is a very strong supply zone that I don't mind playing again. So let's go back on the 5-minute time frame now. I think I spotted a gap. No, okay, so there's no gap on this play. But I essentially include the wicks over here. There's no news here going on, so just normal price action that I included over here. I was waiting for price to essentially tap into this area. What gold loves doing, or a lot of assets that are very volatile, is get liquidity. So as you can see, these are massive liquidity sweeps over here, trying to take out a lot of sellers before it starts pushing down. Again, I'm currently on the 1 or a 5-minute time frame, but I usually take my entries off the 1 minute. So let's just place out a little bit more. Okay, right here. This is the 1 minute time frame, or this is the 5-minute time frame, right? I see that we have tapped into the supply zone, but we have buyers right here. And why? Because first of all, this is demand zone. Second of all, we have a strong push again, and we have this gap right here. We have a fair value gap right here. Exactly right here, which price loves to go fill. So we basically had to fill this gap before pushing back up again because we are bullish. But we are playing reversals here, and I know for a fact it's going to drop here. So going back down on a 1 minute time frame, once we filled that gap that I was looking at earlier over here, I was waiting for price to retest this zone and make this last move going down. So let's play out price action over here. Nothing you can really see here. Again, we just see tons of liquidity over here that we've already taken out, which is very nice. We are retracing back to this area. I usually like playing or getting to my positions in the middle of a zone because that's like the best price in terms of pricing, unless I see a massive gap that will fully get filled. Otherwise, I like to enter in the middle of the zone or off a break of structure, some confirmation, right? So let's wait this out real quick. As you can see on the 1 minute, we had this break of structure right here. We broke these lows over here, and we are even breaking these highs that we had previously over here. So we basically broke that, and we are now breaking structure to the downside. I entered a little bit more aggressively over here just because this has really confirmed my supply zone right here has held very well. Again, third touch over here, fourth touch, fifth touch, and it's still dropping. So very strong, indicating that sellers are most prominently there. Entered off of that move right there, and let's just play the rest of this trade out. You know, I was targeting this gap right here. I believe this is a 5-minute gap. Let's check this out. Yep, this right here, we have a 5-minute gap, as you can see right there. So again, I do go more in depth into how to spot like valid gaps versus not valid gaps in my course, because there's tons of gaps everywhere on the chart, but we only want to play the highest probability actually valid gaps that will work. So I was targeting this gap as my final TP. Again, you can have a target down here, but this is such a big move. And look at the time right here. It's already 11 o'clock. Gold doesn't move much after 11. So I don't see us coming all the way back down here off this one move right here. But I mean, it could happen. Again, this is up to you. My first target would be right here. This would be my target of liquidity over here is my first target. Second target, liquidity over here. You can even target key areas without the wicks if you wanted to for a safer target. And yeah, and then third target again could be down here, but mostly I just like to play it until this full gap gets filled. So let's see what happens now. Let's play this out real quick on the 5-minute. Okay, let's slow this down real quick. Let's see how price is moving right now. Again, basically TP1 hit if you do like playing off taking partials. I've recently tried to implement maximum 2 take profit levels, so take profit in between and my final take profit to maximize my risk to reward. And again, as you can see, this risk to reward on this play is already 1 to 11 if I hit my final TP. So like taking partials still is not that bad of an idea, especially since even partials here is like a 1 to 4, 1 to 7. I mean, it's already really, really good. So TP2 got hit right there, as you can see. Liquidity draw right here and bounced a little bit, broke through like usual. Again, these are not really zones here. These zones already are invalidated once they break. Again, because of this supply zone being such a strong supply, it's going to be a lot easier for them to break. So let's play this out faster actually. Let's see what happens here. If it hits my final take profit over here. Okay, trade is playing out. Okay, at this point, it's most likely not going to hit my final take profit. Again, my final take profit down here, but take profit levels already did get smashed. So 1, 2, and 3 right here. So not a bad trade at all. So pretty good trade right here. 1 to, this wouldn't be a 1 to 11 trade. This would most likely be a 1 to 5 because taking partials here and here. 1 to 5 trade, not bad at all. But again, that would be my final target. I do expect gold price at some point to drop down and fill this gap and actually come back all the way down here. So that was the game plan for the future. But again, that was the gold trade right here. Very, very excellent trade. Only risking 0.06% for a massive 1 to 5 risk reward trade. Now let's go on oil and see what trades we are taking on oil. So oil, again, July 3rd right here. On oil, what I was seeing on the higher time frame is we are still ranging on oil quite a bit. We've been stuck in this range for, let's see, about 1 month right now. We've been stuck just within these upper limits right here. And we are reaching a very key area of supply right here. And what I see on this day is checking the timeout. We had high volatility around 6 o'clock-ish when London's about to, not close, but in the middle of London session. A lot of volatility. We took out all these highs right here as liquidity. We tried filling this gap. I mean, essentially with this gap got filled. Again, we still have part of the gap that needs to get filled, but it already touched into the gap. You could have entered here. This is 6 a.m. though, so I was not up to take that trade. Otherwise, it definitely would have had a better entry there, but that's completely fine right there. Again, I entered right here and I can fully explain why real quick. If we jump down to a lower time frame, let's go on the 5-minute real quick. Okay, so checking on the 5-minute, I can actually move this gap right here real quick. Right here, Well, I think I had this gap somewhere else. But anyway, nonetheless, we had a gap right here that we had to get filled. So again, it rejected this gap the first time. Don't forget, this is the supply zone right now. Since we broke out of this demand and we broke out of this supply, we've gone to demand, and now we are back in supply once again. So I'm looking for sales up here. We rejected this fair value gap. You could have entered there for a stop above the fair value gap, but I'm waiting for a better confirmation, a better entry. We tapped in again. This time we actually filled the whole gap. Could have entered here, but wants a little bit more confirmation. And I also noticed when we made this push down, we made another gap. So I waited for this confirmation, multiple confluences. We took out liquidity. We are back in a major supply zone. We have rejected this gap. We filled the gap, wicked out the gap a little bit. I mean, there isn't much else confirmation after that. That's already really high time frame. That's higher time frame confluence along with lower time frame. So now we have this gap. I wanted us to tap into this gap and then make a good candle that I like to see, or I could even enter off the middle of this gap like I usually do. But again, this time waited a bit more, entered off this 5-minute right here closure like this doji low candle. So I entered with my stops above the fair value gap in case we want to fill the entire gap. We don't usually always fill the entire gap, just like how we did previously somewhere else. We didn't fill the entire gap. So again, that's my confluence right there in that trade. So if we play this out real quick, let's play this out real quick. Very, very simple trade. Again, it takes a lot of confluences to get into an A+ high quality trade that I would size very heavy on. So this was an A+ trade that I would size very heavy on. So very fast, basically got into my take profit level. My take profits would be at this area right here. It doesn't have to be a specific level, but this area of liquidity over here. Again, we have liquidity right here as well. And we also have some type of zone right here that we can even target. So basically got hit on my targets, I believe. Let's see what happens. Yep, target got hit right there. And you could even target this zone right here all the way to the bottom here. I would say my final TP pie most likely realistically would be in this area, just because this is most recent price action. And sometimes, or most times, when we do a retracement like this twice, we typically don't do another big move. But as you can see, this time we did tap into this demand zone right here. This is a very high quality demand zone, because this demand zone is what started this whole entire move right here. Whole entire move was started because of this demand zone right here. So again, you could have played longs over here, but that was the trade I took today, and July 3rd, and I was completely done with the trading day. So that's just a quick recap of all the trades I took today, or not today, July 3rd. Guys, did enjoy these recap videos, definitely let me know down below in the description what other future type of video and content you guys are interested in seeing in future, just lessons and stuff you guys want to learn. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to join free Discord down below, and I'll see you guys in there. Peace.